Okay, this is video number 3. I feel like this is a cute view of the federal building of the United States Post Office. Anyway, step 3. I haven't thought of a nugget term to describe step 3, but if you are working on authenticity and becoming yourself and being yourself and feeling connected to yourself or in love with your life or whatever theme I'm trying to give these videos, then the first step was, I don't know how I phrased it, but like make a home, like root yourself. And the next step was create things and just get in touch with that part of you that wants to just play and live each day and just do things and use creativity like therapy, use creativity like a tool, and create anything. It's not about being a creative person, it's just about making things with your life. And then step 3, I still don't have quite a term for it, but I think it is, step 3 maybe would be believe you have value. Believe that steps 1 and 2, when you do them, believe that they have value in the world, even, not just even if to one other person, but especially if to just one person. It's like that song from like the 1950s or 60s, sung by I think Louis Armstrong or something. Well, the version I'm thinking of, like, it's so important to make someone happy, make just one someone happy, make just one heart to heart you cling to, one smile that cheers you, one face that lights when it nears you, one something, one, I don't remember the end, hello, one, maybe it says girl, one girl you're everything to. Fame, if you win it, comes and goes in a minute. Where's the real stuff in life to cling to? I didn't mean to recite these lyrics, but there's only love is the answer. Make just something. Anyway, my point is, and that's just, I think the song sounds like it's talking about romantic love, but I think it's love of self, love of family, love of a best friend, love of a new acquaintance, love of a community of musicians or friends or anything. Yeah. Sorry, I just got a text and it distracted me, but I'll get back to that in a minute. Anyway, yeah, not distracted me in a bad way, just like they pop up on the screen. And it's a question I want to answer right now, so maybe that'll help me make this short. So that's what I believe is, wow, this one will be absurdly short then compared to the last one. Maybe that's an example of me. Like, I believe that I have value. I don't have value to everyone, but I believe I have value to some people. But for me, I didn't believe I had value until they told me I had value. And it took enough people telling me I have value, like that I helped them in some way deal with the tragedy, listening to my Tiny Traumas album. That one I've probably gotten the most messages about. I used to get it for the DeBeestein and Fogel album back when I lived in Chicago. There's certain songs that I think I've been given or have written or have moved through me, or I've been, I don't know. There's certain songs that it felt like I needed to put them out in the world, and then when I went and did it, somebody invariably said they needed it. And so, like, that's having value. That's confidence. And I could have called this one confidence, but I think confidence is one of those terms that is, like, for me, confidence is this. I'm standing here making a YouTube video in front of the post office, and literally every person who's walking past has probably never seen someone stand and make a YouTube video in front of the post office, and it's okay. Like, it's culture changing, it's me being weird, I guess, it's me being myself in public. A lot of people who are more like me don't do this kind of stuff in public because they feel really weird about it. It does feel weird, I won't lie. It feels really weird to do this, but I like doing it. And I can't, like, clear out the city of Grand Haven just to have the backdrop and be outside in the sun and enjoy making YouTube videos. Like, it's a free country. They can do it. They can walk around and they can look at me funny. And they can be like, what the heck is she doing? She's talking to herself and holding her phone. But like for me, that's what confidence is just believing that I have value, believing what I want to do, what I want to create, which includes making these weird videos because I'm way too disorganized to write a book, but I have so much to say, you know? So, and, you know, I tried blogging for a while, and I think without, this is gonna sound super weird, but like, some people like my face. I don't always like my face. Like, I've put on weight. I don't really want to talk about that right now, but some of it's because of, okay, I'll say it, fine. Some of it's because of birth control, some of it's because of politics. Like, I have been coping with stuff. I have not wanted to, like, go into therapy again over societal things that are happening because of politics. Like, I'm annoyed that our country's changed so much the last couple of years, and I'm annoyed at it, and I probably need to be dealing with it more. But instead, I'm probably turning to some old habits of comforting myself with food when I feel powerless at mass shootings or other things. And, you know, not everything about you is about you. Not everything you're doing is because of something in you. Sometimes the things that you're doing are a reaction. I think a lot of what we call mental illness, not all of it, but a lot of what we call mental illness is appropriate reactions to horrible situations, which is kind of like the world. A lot of, I've felt so disconnected from my own life lately. See, I needed that mailbox. I'm holding my, I'm gonna put my coffee down. I felt really disconnected from my own life a lot of times lately, and I just act like the entire world is garbage sometimes just because there's all of this tragedy, and it makes me turn to God and sort of want to just get out of here. But like, I don't really think that's the solution, because I have a song about that. It's on my Time in the Sky album. It's called Fall, I think, or it's called Want. I think it's called Fall. But you know, where it talks about, like, it matters that you're here, it matters that I'm here, it matters, each one of us matter. And like, I don't want to just be yanked up and be gone. Like, I do because to live in complete and infinite and total peace, like starting right now, does sound better. But like, for as long as I'm supposed to be here, I'll be here, and I need to talk about my experiences with this place, with the world, with people, with misunderstandings, with hurt, with pain, with trauma that's so deep that it causes people to become violent. I mean, I don't want to be in this world because I don't like the unpredictability of knowing that I live in a country that's horribly violent right now. I don't like it. And I don't like the differing opinions on it. Like, I don't even want to just sit on one side of it, because I hear everybody talking and not listening to each other. I don't want to just have one opinion and then shove it down your throat. Like, I feel very open about all of it, and I don't know the solutions. So, I mean, I know what side I swing to. I hate guns. We can leave it at that. But I also lived through 9/11. I just hate violence in general. I don't understand it. I don't even like verbal violence. I don't even like to summarize people that deserve to be summarized for how hateful they are being to other people. I should summarize them as hateful people. But instead, I always want to, like, look at, well, what's their trauma? What's their upbringing? What's their background? And I probably shouldn't be giving them that much grace. I probably should be societally helping the team of people who are being empathetic try to get those people back into a box, or get them help. You know, maybe that's the other thing, get them help. Maybe that is a box, like a mental institution. Like, if they are really that unstable that they want to go hurt people, like, don't just peace and love all over them. And it's not a valid way to live in the world, to be violent. It's not. Including verbal violence. I've had so much abuse, and I've had people be physically violent with me as well. And I don't talk much about that. But one of my ex-boyfriends was very, very, very physically violent and very mentally manipulative. And luckily I got out of that. I had some friends kind of do a little intervention when I was in college and get me out of that. So anyway, but talk about losing your confidence. Like, although he did think I was a good songwriter, I remember when he heard a song of mine and was like, oh, I didn't know you were actually good. I've attracted so many douchebags. Anyway, I'm just a very sensitive, kind of open person, and I'm probably too open to too many people, and so YouTube creates a boundary for me, which is ironic because it doesn't at all. Some would think I should just never share, but I can't. I can't just throw my life away. If I was meant to create, then I want to create, and if this helps me to share with you, then it helps me. And if I start getting weird, hateful comments, maybe I'll shut the whole thing down if it's painful. I don't know, but maybe not. Maybe I'll just talk with those people, and then maybe trolls will take over my life, and all I'll end up ever doing is like trying to talk trolls out of being trolls, and then it'll remind me of my more subtly but still abusive ex-marriage. And I shouldn't say that, but it is true, and I hope he never... Ooh, I thought there was a bee by my head, but it's just light. Ooh, well, there was a bee. It's like a hornet. Anyway, I shouldn't really share his story, but then again, it shouldn't be my responsibility to protect it either. Like, he was a very, very, very wounded, broken man, and needed a lot of help, and I stayed way too long trying to be that help, but I also got a lot out of it, and that's a messy, messy concept that I don't think we talk about enough in society. I picked up my coffee, but now I have nowhere to put it. Anyway, yeah, that's a messy concept. Like, people who are choosing abusive partners, they are getting something out of it. Or at least I was. Like, it was a safe person. I didn't have to show up in a lot of ways. I don't know. I was able to be in a fixed reality in a very unfixed world. So even though it was fixed in an abusive pattern, it had a fixed quality that was understandable, and and it also made me feel like the good guy all the time, which at that point in my life I really needed to feel, because I wasn't the one being bad. I was the victim and the one tolerating and putting up with something. So, anyway, this was supposed to be about, why you should, I don't even remember. Confidence is the new word I'm thinking now. I think I had said something about value. Believing you have value. So now I don't enter into abusive situations. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but if something is proven, it's, who is it? Is it Maya Angelou who said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them? That changed my life, because it was like, oh, if someone shows me that the way they treat me is this, and then I feel this, and then they treat me that way again, and I feel this way, and if we try to communicate through it, that's one thing. And if we each grow, that's also one thing. But when they treat me a certain way and I feel this way, and then we try to communicate through it and it doesn't work, and there's no communication, and it just becomes a stuckness, like, that's someone showing me who they are. And like, I don't have to imagine that they're someone else deep down, or they're inner artist, or oh, they're just wounded because their dad hurt them. Like, those things are true, but that's still not who they are right now. And who they are right now is this. And if I don't like this, and what this is making me feel smaller than and worse than about myself, then I can hi a cute little girl. Biggest fans, usually children. I was gonna say kids after I started saying children, so I said chids, but I don't know. Anyway, I didn't believe I had value back then, so I couldn't have attracted somebody that thought I had value. I'm in the best relationship of my life now, and this person thinks I have value, and I think he has value, immense value, and that feels so good. It feels like sunlight. But you can't just wake up one day and find that. Like, I don't know how you get to that point, other than maybe steps 1 and 2. Like, I don't know. I never wanted to be alone. And until I healed a lot of my wounds and traumas from my past, I would have been attracting things that were abusive, because I hated myself and my life so much. I hated everything because I believed in all this garbage that came at me in middle school and younger. I mean, I just believed in a lot of the things of the world. So I couldn't have attracted anything positive, or anything growth-oriented, or anything where two people are supporting each other and nurturing each other and really, growing together. Like, I couldn't have attracted that. And so alternatively, and I think this is where some people are attracted to abusive people, I just didn't want to be alone. And I'm gonna cry now. That's literally probably, for me anyway, the mystery solved. Why are some people with abusive people? Because if they feel like the alternative is being alone, the idea of working on myself while I was alone and having no one and no support and no tether felt like I was going to die. And maybe I would have, I don't know. And I had family offering me to move in with them, but my challenge in those really dark places was that I knew what a burden it would be, and I also knew that I'm very huggy, and I didn't want to be, I didn't want to be a burden in that way. Yeah, but that probably would have worked out too. My family is very kind and generous with whenever I want to visit. So I'm very lucky. I'm very grateful to have gotten out of those patterns. I don't just think it's about getting away from a specific person. I think it's about getting out of a pattern. Like, I couldn't have just woken up one day and believed I had value. But through being jolted out of certain patterns and certain healing, and I mean, a lot of my work, my inner work on this topic has been about forgiveness. For me to believe I have value, I had to forgive all the people that made me feel like I didn't. I had to deeply forgive them down to my core. And I think forgiveness work is the number one work that I do. And I do it on big things, like actual, like big traumas, things people did to me that are so massive that I probably shouldn't have recovered. Like, I don't know how on some of these topics. I believe in God. I think sometimes something was removed. Like, it was like a wound that I was nursing and continually reopening just to nurse it, to reopen, to nurse it. It's like some of that was just removed. And so I feel healed on a lot of things now. But yeah, forgiveness work. That's the number one work I've done. But I also do it in small ways. And I get triggered all the time still. And when somebody treats me like, one of my biggest triggers right now is when somebody treats me coldly, like they don't like me, but it's someone I have to see regularly. That's probably my biggest trigger. I don't have to see them regularly. And I just kind of get in a mental loop of like, what is it about my personality and who I am that's so upsetting for them or off-putting for them, or probably the best word is annoying for them. And in an ideal world, I would just get to be away from those people because they make me feel small. They make me feel sad about myself. Like, I don't want to be kind of subtly reminded that you like other people better than you like me because you find me annoying or overbearing or just whatever. I do have some certain patterns when I'm in deeper relationships that are, like people pleasing or saying sorry too much. I don't know. And it's old stuff. It's remnants of patterns I was in before. And some people just kind of let me know they don't like it. And the way they let me know they don't like it is not through communication. It's through being sort of chilly towards me. And that's really hard for me because I like being warm. Like, I like the sun. And if you're a chilly person and you try to teach people who to be and how to be through being chilly to them so they get the point that you don't like the way that you're acting, if that's who you are and that's how you educate people on how to be when they're around you, just know that people like me, my only solution to dealing with people like you is to cut you out of my life. Because that was extreme. But if you imply that I can't have a conversation with you about it because the conversation is too warm or too annoying, then I can't have a conversation with you about it. Basically what you're telling me through your chilliness is be more like you, not be like me. And there's memes and stuff out there that tell you that, like, oh, you shouldn't just walk away. But it's like, if someone tells me or implies through their chilliness that they don't want to communicate, they don't want to have this conversation, but they don't want me to be like me, then I'm sorry. My personal power tells me, okay, you don't want me to be like me, but I'm gonna keep being me. And I will meet you in the middle. I will try not to do so much X, Y, or Z. But if then I slip up and I apologize and you let me know that that's annoying to you, then I'm gonna eventually walk away. That's how this works. We don't need to stay in patterns, in systems, in situations where we feel like our true self isn't wanted and needs to be corrected. Like, I am not a piece of clay for you to mold. I'm a piece of clay for me to mold. And you can go mold yourself. I have a song about that. It's on my SoundCloud. I might take it down someday, but I think it's called Hitler Would Love You, or Mold Yourself, Hitler Would Love You. Because I've been clay my whole life and I've let people mold me. And this most recent one has been the most painful to my heart because, when it's someone you love that's being chilly towards you because they don't like certain things about how you're behaving, or they don't like certain qualities that you have. Yeah. There's nothing you can do. If the thing you feel they're implying you should do is change for them, then the best you can do is just moderate. I don't know. I'm really confused on this. I don't think we're supposed to diminish our light. Like, think about like theater directors throughout history. Like, some of them were like assholes and like overbearing and like all these big qualities. And so like, if someone doesn't like your big qualities, you're probably not with your right people. And like, it's a hard thing to realize once you've already kind of gotten in the flow of things with people. But I don't know. Maybe there's chapters, maybe there's seasons. Maybe we're drawn to certain people so we can learn certain lessons, and then maybe those things kind of end or drift apart peacefully, and it's good, and it's love, and it's growth. I'm happy for this growth. And these people that I'm referring to, by the way, are people I love, like, deeply. But I just get into these karmic patterns, it seems like, when I love someone deeply, but I don't understand why they don't feel warm towards me on a regular basis. I absolutely shrink when I can't figure out why someone doesn't like me. And it could be as simple as just certain qualities that I have are completely space dominating or overwhelming. I mean, I also do most of the work. In most situations I'm in, I do 90% of the work. Like group projects, if we got a bad grade, it wasn't because of me. I was doing most of the work. And maybe that's irritating to some people. I don't know. I feel weird talking so openly about something, but at the same time, if I don't talk about it, then I'm also giving that scenario power, because I'm saying that, you know, their reality wins. And when it comes to things that are not huge problems or just tiny problems, like subtle things like this, is where I've often gotten stuck, because it's not like abusive people. It's not like some big thing. It's just that I have remnants of how I react to people being unkind to me, which unkindness is very different than like being abused, you know? Like, this is hugely different. And it's just with friends. It's not even with like a big main partner in my life. So it's not even, there are a lot of people, to make it not just about one or two people, like there are a lot of people who kind of use like chilliness or not responding or not clicking like or not whatever as like a, and I'm not saying you're using it as a tool, I'm just saying like you just have this confidence of like, if you don't like something, you don't click like, or if you don't, or you unfollow people if they're kind of intense for you to pay attention to and you don't want to pay attention to them, like that's your prerogative, that's fine. But the reason on a more peripheral level those people stopped bothering me is because I realized if they do that, then they're not my people. And then sometimes I unfollow them too, because it becomes too painful to feel a lopsided relationship. Like if I'm following and clicking like and love on everything that someone posts because I get a lot out of them, and then years and years they're never liking anything in mine, they maybe unfollowed me, maybe they're not seeing me, like eventually for my own sanity I often unfollow them. I just don't feel like as close of friends to somebody that, you know, it's not just that they don't have time for me, I almost feel like they're actively not wanting to affirm who I am, and that just means they're not my people. Like, I don't know. I don't mean to be so cut and dry with that. Like, if it were family or like friends that I've had since the beginning of time, I would still keep them in my life, but I would put them in a different category in my mind and in my heart and in my being. Like, they're not the people that are making me feel nourished. They're not the people that are making me feel safe to be myself. They're people who are making me feel like who I am is somehow a burden or a problem or a thing to be corrected or edited. And they may be right for like traditional society, but I'm not trying to fit traditional society. I'm trying to be myself. And so, I don't know. Find your people. Because like this obsession that I've had with these lopsided relationships, both as extreme as severe abuse to now more just like in subtle ways, these lopsided relationships, gives me this puppy dog feeling of like chasing after people who don't even want me. And they would want me if I would act a little more like them. They probably don't even know they're doing this. Or if they know they're doing this, it's a self-protective measure for themselves. And then that's okay, because I believe in that. And then that's what they need to work through. But I don't have to continue to put myself in that loop anymore. I'm going to, because it's a loop and it's very hard to get out of. But honestly, that's where prayer comes in for me, because I'm going to ask, right after I stop this video, I'm going to ask for that one to be removed. That's an illness. That's a mental illness. I'm not on any meds. I'm as sane or as crazy as you believe I am or as I believe I am. But I love my life, I love being alive, and I love figuring out what these things are. And I love talking about them and praying about them, and I probably would be a counselor. I do counsel people a lot. I'm a mentor for a lot of people in a songwriting way. I've talked about that in other videos, so I'm not going to talk about it right now, because this is 25 minutes long. This was going to be the short one. Anyway, thank you, post office. I have now talked in front of a post office for 25 minutes, or 50 minutes if you include the cute post office box over there. Oh my gosh, I need to go. I mean, I don't need to go, but I hope you get something out of this. I know it's very personal and very all over the place, but I hope, you know, this is probably as close as I'll ever get to writing a book, unless I attract an editor someday, which I'm happy to. I admire people like Sark, Julia Cameron, Elizabeth Gilbert, but, you know, at the end of the day, my main love is making up music and making up songs. Although, is that really true? Because I make more of these videos than I do songs lately. But I love writing songs. I love it with my whole heart, but I need an editor for that too. I'm so backed up on how many songs that I have that I want to work on. I have like 7 albums that need editing and work. I'm trying to catch up with all the work, but then at the same time, the more I catch up with work, the more excited I get to be alive, and then I make more videos like this, which just creates more work. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong place. Hi! Alright, have a good day. Bye. Oh, yes, so in conclusion, step 1, home, have a home, or make a home, create a home base. Step 2 was create things, you know, actual, like, not actual, ugh, that word is terrible, you know, art, a life, connections, experiences, moments, relationships, create things. And then step 3, believe you have value. Believe you have value, because you do have value. We all have value. You have way more value than you probably believe you have. That's what confidence is believing you have value. You have value. I promise. It's in there. Or if you're a confident person watching this, no confident people probably watch me. Unless to make fun of me. I don't know. But yeah, believe you have value. You'll get more and more confident the more you believe in it. And find ways to believe it. Surround yourself with people who believe you have value. And if you can't find them, keep looking. Online is not real. Online is real too. Okay, bye.